subconsciously, there's unconscious bias. And the way that lands, though, for people is you're calling them names. There's got to be a better way to say it.
When Republicans take back the White House, and we will, because the deep state, last term for President Trump, they were hiding in the shadows. But now they have a spotlight on them, and they can all be investigated.
American carnage. That's Donald Trump's true legacy. His desire to overthrow the people's election and seize the presidency interrupted the counting of electoral college votes for the first time in American history, nearly toppled the constitutional order, and brutalized hundreds and hundreds of people.
We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. Yes, we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens, who helped Joe Biden rig presidential elections. We're going to come after you. Whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out. But yeah, we're putting you all on notice.
It has been reported that more than 40 FBI personnel, agents, or contractors were in the crowd on January 6th. Is that number accurate?
I don't know if that number is accurate.
Congressman, Trump is saying you should go to jail. Are you worried about him or the FBI coming after you?
Honestly, they should go to jail.
America and the whole world saw with their own eyes. You saw people breaking into the United States Capitol. You saw law enforcement being assaulted. And ultimately, we had several individuals who died because of that attack.
I think those people committed a major crime. Sir. And Cheney was behind it. Well, and so was Benny Thompson.
And I wish he would rethink it, but obviously he's already gone public to say that he would.
For what they did, honestly, they should go to jail.
And I hope the president would take that into consideration.
So you think Liz Cheney should go to jail?
Well,
y'all said worse than that. Y'all said that he should put Liz Cheney in front of a firing squad. I hope one day they put my baby mama in front of a firing squad or in front of a moving tank or tractor or something moving or something vicious or something violent. I wish they put her in front of that. You know what I'm saying? Why do everybody else get to be put in front of something? Right? But they say Liz Cheney should be locked up. Well, hell, she switched parties, she lied, she falsified reports. She got on public TV and lied. She had a TV series called the January 6th Committee. She was a co-star of the January 6th Committee. All of them lying every damn day, huh? Got up there and lied in front of American people every day. Oh, lying, got the witness talking about Donald Trump tried to choke somebody out. Like, come on, man. Right? You got all these fabricated ass stories talking about, oh man, we got enough evidence, you know what I'm saying? We can hand it over to the DOJ now. When you didn't do the same shit on Hunter Biden, you didn't have no Hunter Biden hearing, but you had a Jan 6 here. All the evidence you had on Hunter Biden, you didn't have no hearing. No, oh, this ain't nothing. No, Joe Biden's not leading to anything. Every time the Republicans ask for a piece of evidence, you want to, hell no, we ain't got it. You got to go somewhere else and get it. We ain't got it. We're going to lock it up. But every piece of Donald Trump shit, leak. Everything was a leak. Everything. You don't think how is it that Barack Obama didn't have no leaks? Joe Biden barely had leaks, but he didn't have no leaks. The only leaks he had was in public when people were saying Joe is sleepy. Joe is not capable of doing the job. It was said out in public way before it was said in the White House, so there wasn't really no leaks. Joe sleeping in front of world leaders. There wasn't no motherfucking leaks. Them was truths. Joe wandering off. Joe almost fell off a stage. Joe fell off a bike. Joe don't know where the fuck he going. Joe calling old people names. Joe didn't make it into the debate. That's all. Then y'all start talking about the shit. Well, you know, Joe ain't too good. Bitch, we was talking about that last week. But if you got up there and you lie in public in order to fix or change an election, which you did, right? You should be investigated. Then they say, wait a minute, we shouldn't go back on old shit. So you saying if my grandmother go out there and do a drive-by, right, 2 years ago, and she go to court, she get caught for it today because they got a new police officer in charge and they're going to reinvestigate her case. You saying she should go to court and say, why you want to bring up old shit? Let's talk about the new shit. Well, don't talk about the drive-bys I already did. Let's talk about the drive-bys I'm going to do. Now, let's talk about them. That don't make no sense. Benny, your ass going to be gone. Your ass investigated. You gone, bro.
You know, we are members of Congress. We operated based on our direction from Congress. There are specific laws that give security to members of Congress.
Well, Donald Trump ain't going to respect them laws. Your ass is gone. Donald Trump said your ass should be locked up. Cash Patel. That's what I be doing when I be playing dominoes, nigga. I be like, get Cash Patel. That's how I be doing Sergeant Mo when I be playing them in real dominoes. Nigga, Cash Patel. Cash Patel, nigga. Huh? Give me that's 10, Cash Patel. That's all my new domino word. But I got a new video coming out with Cash Patel. Oh, I ain't gonna tell y'all it's an intro song. I ain't gonna tell. Wait till you hear the intro song. But anyway, right? If you, all the stuff that Donald Trump did, supposedly, and got indicted for, why do people get the do and all the people that was in the Trump administration, like Bannon, or you know what I'm saying, or all the other people, all the people that went to jail under Donald Trump? The Republicans can do the same exact thing, can lie and do all kind of shit, lie in front of Congress and falsify reports and all kind of shit, right? And then when they get caught, say, why you want to bring up old shit? That shit was so 2013. Why you bringing up old shit? The country want to move on. They want to talk about groceries. Nigga, we've been talking about groceries for 4 years. Now all of a sudden you want to talk about your crimes, and all of a sudden you want to talk about groceries. Well, let's talk about groceries. The American people don't want to hear about that. The American people want to hear about their groceries. Ain't that a bitch now all of a sudden? Let's go.
For what they did.
Everyone on the committee, you think?
I think everybody on the...
And now all of a sudden, the incoming president is talking about pardoning them, and they were heroes and patriots, and that's just not who we are as a country.
New this morning, it's the biggest act of clemency in a single day in modern U.S. history. That's how the White House is describing President Biden's decision to commute the sentences of nearly 1,500 people. The president also issued pardons, 39 pardons, that is, to people convicted of nonviolent crimes. The decision comes on the heels of the controversial pardon he granted to his son Hunter earlier this month. Also today, speaking of pardons, President-elect Donald Trump tells Time magazine he plans to pardon Americans who stormed the Capitol on January 6th within the first hour of his new administration. That will undoubtedly come as a major disappointment to members of the January 6th committee who invest.
That nigga said, I'm not waiting 60 minutes. I'm not waiting a whole motherfucking hour. He gonna pardon January 6th prisoners faster than you could cook a motherfucking Hot Pocket, right? Soon as Donald Trump get inaugurated, put a Hot Pocket in the motherfucking refrigerator or in the microwave. Before he go bing, the J6 prisoner's gonna be out. He said the first hour, like, hold on, before we do this border shit, let me get my folks out of jail. I handle the border shit in the second minute. The first minute, bing, put a Hot Pocket in the microwave and watch what I tell you. Watch how fast the motherfucker be. Yeah, god dang. I didn't even get to finish the Hot Pocket. Damn. That was fast. These motherfuckers already at the house. They already knowing. Them motherfuckers like, man, I want no more of that jail food. Fuck that jail food. I'm waiting for January 20th, bro. I'm waiting for January 10th. Don't send me no more money. I'm good, bro. I'll be out holler at you. They making plans and everything. I'll be home, baby, in January 6th. I'll be tearing that thing up. Keep it hot for me, baby. I'm gonna come home, Trump. I'm gonna give you this Trump dick tonight, Put this one on Trump.
Investigated the attack.
So you think Liz Cheney should go to jail?
For what they did.
Everyone on the committee, you think?
I think everybody anybody that voted in favor.
Are you going to direct your FBI director and your attorney general to send them to jail?
No, not at all. I think that they'll have to look at that.
Trump's comments come after he said in recent days that members of that committee, quote, should go to jail.
David Spunt is live from the Justice Department. He has got the news for us. David.
Sandra, 3 of those were authorized and tasked by the FBI to be there on January 6, 2021. We're coming up on 4 years since that day of the Capitol riot. This IG report specifically focuses on the FBI's handling of confidential human sources, or as we know them, FBI informants.
Former Capitol Police Chief Stephen's son reportedly has asserted that the protest crowd was filled with federal agents. Are you aware of his assertion?
I am not.
Because it wasn't agents, it was snitches. It was snitches, and snitches get snitches. It was FBI snitches. We wasn't up in there per se, but we had our people up in there. We didn't tell them what to do, but we told them what to do.
Would you agree with him that it was filled with federal agents on January 6th?
I would really have to see more closely exactly what he said and get the full context to be able to evaluate it.
A big part of the reason why President Trump won. I think people are sick and tired of the way the justice system has been politicized under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
For years, the outgoing FBI director, Chris Wray, has been pressed on reports of undercover agents.
How many agents were actually agents or human resources were present in the Capitol complex and vicinity on January 6th?
Well, again, it's going to get confusing. It depends on when we deployed and responded to the breach that occurred. Obviously,
how many were under
federal agents?
Sure. Yeah, you're talking, and you and I both know what we're talking different things here. And please don't distract here, because we're focusing on those who were there in an undercover capacity on January 6th. How many were there?
Again, I'm not sure that I can give you that number as I sit here.
When you go back and look at the polling in this race, and I think this is a big deal, when you talk about who's the bigger threat to democracy, a lot of people said that was Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, because they saw what happened, the way that everything from the DOJ, the FBI was turned on its head and used to attack a political opponent.
I'm not sure there were undercover agents on scene.
I find that kind of a remarkable statement, Director. At this point, you don't know whether there were undercover federal agents, FBI agents in the crowd or in the Capitol on January 6th.
I say that because I want to be very careful. There have been a number of court filings related to some of these topics, and I want to make sure that I stick within what's in.
I understand that.
So obviously you think that the Hunter pardon is pretty ridiculous, but I don't think anyone's actually surprised by it. Now, to your direct question, Maggie, regarding the J6 prisoners, the president has said over and over, and he's even said this since the election, those will be looked at on a case-by-case.
But I thought I heard you say you didn't know whether there were FBI agents or informants or human sources in the Capitol or in the vicinity on January 6th. Did I misunderstand you? I thought that's what you said.
Well, I referred very specifically to undercover agents.
According to this new report, there were no undercover FBI agents.
Yeah. And so are you acknowledging then there were undercover agents?
As I sit here right now, I do not believe there were undercover agents on scene, FBI agents.
However, there were 3 confidential human sources tasked by the Bureau to be in the crowd on January 6th to specifically watch what the report states is concerns over domestic terrorism.
Did you?
Oh, we not up in there, but we sent 3 of our snitches or whatever you want, our paid informants up in there to keep an eye on terrorism and shit like that. But another 23 of our paid house snitches just happened to show up without our request. We didn't tell them to be there. They just happened to be there. We didn't tell them to do nothing. They just happened to be there.
Do you have any assets present that day?
Assets.
In the crowd?
When it comes to what you're calling assets or what we would call confidential human sources, that's a place where, again, I want to be careful, much as I said in response to an earlier question. There are court filings that I think speak to this that I'm happy to make sure we get to you, assuming they're not under seal.
Human sources, that's what they talking about. That's the FBI informant. You see how he keep wording around that. There's no FBI agent, but every time he say informants or special people, right, he be like, well, let me get back to you on that, the wording on that, and let me show you, let me be real careful with that. But he makes sure he say no agents. That means he read the report because he didn't want to what? Incriminate himself. So he made sure to insinuate no agents, but every time they ask him about the informant or something like that, he kind of back around the question. But he get real angry when you say agent. No, we are not there. The agents did not do this and not. But every time they say informant, watch how he back up. Here we go.
happy to make sure we get to you, assuming they're not under seal. And that can better answer the question than I can as I sit here right now.
Out of those three, Sandra and John, one entered the Capitol, two others entered a restricted area.
Director Wray, does the FBI have confidential human sources?
The report says the FBI did not encourage or authorize any sources to go into the building or a restricted area.
Did the FBI have confidential human sources embedded within the January 6th protesters on January 6th of 2021?
Well, Congressman, as I'm sure you can appreciate, I have to be very careful about what I can say about when.
Even now, because that's what you told us 2 years ago.
In addition to the three confidential human sources, the FBI told there were 23 that were there on their own.
We could show dozens of examples. Sending FBI agents to shut down local prosecutors for going after Jeff Epstein, systemic abuse of FISA, systemic abuse of First Amendment rights, targeting parents and Catholics.
Parents and Catholics going, how the fuck is you gonna shut the look, we shut the J6 down. We shut the not the J6, the Jeffrey Epstein, the JE down for the J6. We were more concerned with people that was going inside the Capitol building than the Democrats that was having sex with these little ass kids. Stop the investigation. We got something else. Wait, when we close to, the investigation. Stop the investigation. Just like ABC stopped when old girl finna break the news. Stop. Don't break that news. Remember about Jeffrey Epstein and the little girls? The same thing with the FBI. Stop. When they were finna break the news about the list and all that, they made them stop the Jeffrey Epstein and even stop the sexual allegation with the gymnastic girls so they can go after what? Churches and parents. Let's go.
Director Wray, thank you for being here. I noticed with interest in your written testimony that you said, and I'm quoting you now, the FBI uses all tools available at its disposal to combat domestic terrorism, which now apparently includes the crime of being Catholic.
Refusing to investigate multiple reports of sexual abuse of U.S. gymnasts.
Let's talk a little bit about the FBI's egregious targeting of Catholic Americans. You have repeatedly been asked about the memo generated by the Richmond field office. We now know in collaboration with multiple other field offices about recruiting sources in Catholic churches. You have repeatedly said that no human sources were approached.
The problem is, speaking of the FBI, they have no accountability, near absolute power, and they know no one, not even Congress, can touch them.
This is you on July the 12th in the House. You were asked directly by Jim Jordan, do you think that priests ought to be approached to give information on parishioners? You said, no, sir, no, sir. You went on to say, we do not recruit, open, or operate human sources. We do not report on religious organizations.
That is what many, many Americans feel. And now we have to go to them and say, yeah, we understand your concerns, but at the same time, we want to reauthorize these powers and authorities.
You went on to say, this product, meaning the Richmond memo, has not resulted in any investigative action. But now we know that, in fact, FBI agents did approach a priest and a choir director to ask them to inform on parishioners.
Now, they had worked with the FBI in the past on other cases, but not specifically on the January 6th rally.
Ha! All the 26 other snitches done worked on all kind of other cases, but this not happened to be the January 6th riots, supposedly, but all of them was there. You see how that go? Oh, we work on all kind of other cases. We just so happened to be at January 6th, even though we wasn't working. All 23 of us just happened to show up at the same time. Huh? And you see why Ray getting fired? He got it. The Christians, the Catholics, the parents, you know what I'm saying? The old woman, you, January 6th, the FISA report. I mean, he got so much shit going on. It's no wonder Joe Biden didn't fire his ass. Joe Biden can be like, man, I know I ain't supposed to be firing nobody, but damn, Ray, you making me look bad, bro. I got to reprimand you or speak out or something. You invaded the president's house. You done all kind of shit.
Fire director to ask them to inform on parishioners.
Now, they had worked with the FBI in the past on other cases, but not specifically on the January 6th rally.
So were you lied to when you gave this testimony, or were you lying to Congress?
Some of them entered a restricted area as well.
May I finish? About when we do and do not, and where we have and have not used confidential human sources. But to the extent that there's a suggestion, for example,
You hear how you switch that up? How we use confidential sources, right? He says something about how to use confidential sources, but to cover it up, to make it look like he wasn't really talking, to making sure he go back to the FBI, he said something about confidential sources. Then he went right to the FBI. Like, but to say this is the FBI fault, you see how they do that shit? Right? They try to throw you off and say, yeah, well, I don't really want to talk about the confidential sources, but the agents, the sales agent up there that gives us such and such in the law. Okay. Why wasn't that passion when he was talking about informants?
that the FBI, but to the extent that there's a suggestion, for example, that the FBI's confidential human sources or FBI employees in some way instigated or orchestrated January 6th, that's categorically false.
You called them patriots.
How do we know that? How do we know that? That the FBI paid informants didn't investigate nothing. How do we know that?
140 police officers were assaulted that day. Their injuries included broken bones. At least one officer lost an eye.
What stands out in this report, John and Sandra, none of the confidential human sources that entered the U.S. Capitol or a restricted area were prosecuted by the D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office.
One had 2 cracked ribs, 2 smashed spinal discs. Another had a stroke.
Remember, this is an office that is still arresting nearly 4 years later and prosecuting people with this case.
But the 3 FBI agents who entered restricted areas, right, and one went into the Capitol building, for somehow was not arrested, even though that wasn't part of their job. Who did they go up in there with? Did they entice somebody to go up in there? Did somebody entice them to go up in there? Why was they up in there? Have you ever asked that?
Were the people who assaulted those 140 officers, including those I just mentioned, patriots who deserve pardons?
Now, in a response to the Inspector General, the D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office says the following. The D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office generally has not charged those individuals whose only crime on January 6, 2021 was to enter the restricted grounds surrounding the Capitol, which has resulted in the office declining to charge hundreds of individuals, and we have treated.
Wait a minute. So you charge all the other people with the same crime, right? The D.C. U.S. Attorney Office generally has not charged those individuals whose only crime on January 6th was to enter restricted grounds surrounding. What? What about the other people who entered the same thing, who got arrested and is still in jail?
Crime on January 6, 2021 was to enter the restricted grounds surrounding the Capitol, which has resulted
in the office declining
to
charge hundreds of individuals, and we have treated the CHS consistent with this approach, right? Confidential informants, I guess, consistent with this approach. Yeah, fucking right.
Declining to charge hundreds of individuals, and we have treated the confidential human sources as consistent with this approach.
How come the
But
people
sir, we're
that,
talking about people that were seen beating officers with flagpoles, dragging them down the stairs. They're on video. Have you seen that video, sir?
So the idea, I don't know why, I don't know what we are, why the defense of Merrick Garland, sure. Donald Trump lied about an election being stolen.
Well,
You would pardon those rioters?
They shot a young lady in the face who was protesting. They shot her in the face. You know, nobody died that day. You do know that.
I'm happy to jog your memory to quote, according to the record, I asked you, did you have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters positioned inside the Capitol on January 6th prior to the doors being opened?
And then sicked a mob on the Capitol. And it's funny that you roll your eyes at this, Kevin, because you're the one who went down and resurrected him.
Did you have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters inside the Capitol on January the 6th prior to the doors being opened?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Confidential human sources dressed like Trump supporters. Well, it sure the fuck wasn't dressed like Biden and Kamala supporters, right? Because they knew they would have got their ass out of there. And they couldn't have been a confidential informant unless they went in, right, looking as part of the group, which was Trump supporters. So they infiltrated Trump supporters and went in the Capitol building as confidence informers, paid confidence informers, I may say, of the FBI.
Again, I had to be very careful.
It should be a no. Can you not tell the American people no?
He can't, because he'd be lying and he would have been indicted on the next FBI operator. He knew what he was doing.
We did not have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters positioned inside the Capitol.
Gentleman's time has
You want to know what happened just now in the 2024 election? Is we elected the most dangerous criminal human being, corrupt human being that America has ever elected.
You responded, I quote, again, I have to be very careful of what I say. To which I said, it should be a no. Can you not tell the American people no? We did not have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters positioned inside the Capitol on January 6th.
And Kevin, you helped him. You're the one who went and got him after.
You're
after.
welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, sure.
You're welcome. You went and got him. You resurrected him. It's because of you. It's because of people like you, right? People like you. You want to see people like us. Bitch, majority of the country.
Thank you.
A year has passed. We sit here again a year later, we the people still do not have a definitive answer from you or anyone else in the Biden administration regarding the FBI presence and participation in the months leading up to the November election and in the weeks and days prior to January 6th and on January 6th here in D.C.
Okay.
And in doing so, you enabled this. And so Joe Biden, the idea that Joe Biden's Justice Department is the problem here, as opposed to Donald Trump.
Outgoing FBI Director Christopher Wray, who announced that he would be stepping down in the next few weeks yesterday, has been pressed on the FBI's role on January 6th.
But you went after the J6 people with a vengeance. And I'll tell you what about the cops that were, and I'm all for the police, as you know, but what about the police that are ushering everybody into the Capitol? Go in.
And the fact that he tried to overturn an election and sick people on the Capitol is, I don't know if people let you get away with that in rooms all the time, but you should never be allowed to get away with it.
So, confidential human sources tasked by the FBI are not undercover agents. These are people that belong to groups like, for instance, the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, and then became paid FBI informants at certain points in time.
We can't get a straight answer, although we have a tremendous amount of evidence.
Still being members of their groups. And of course, John and Sandra, others are not part of any group and just decided to show up to the Capitol for whatever reason and still work with the FBI.
We just showed up at the Capitol for no reason, but we still work with the FBI. How did that happen? How does that happen? Oh, we volunteering to be Trump supporters today, and we're going to volunteer information today, free of charge. We're going to fly all the way from where the fuck we at, right? We're not part of any organization, right? We're not part of the Proud Boys. We're not part of the Oath Keepers. We're not none of them, part of them. We're not infiltrating none of them groups. We're just going to go in and give you information about what? About who? You have to ask, you have to do something, you have to infiltrate somebody to be getting information from somebody. So who was you getting information for, and why was the FBI getting information from you if you wasn't supposed to be working?
Still being members of their groups. And of course, John and Sandra, others are not part of any group and just decided to show up to the Capitol for whatever reason and still work with the FBI on the side and provide information. And we're, of course, waiting for more information from Capitol Hill to see if the White House has anything, the Department of Justice, the FBI, as this report just breaking now with the Inspector General.
Harvested and reviewed over the course of the last year. which you will see.
So a confidential human source is a fancy word phrase for a spy.
In September, Stephen D'Artano, formerly in charge of the FBI's field office in Washington, D.C., testified to the House Judiciary Committee that he was aware the FBI informants would attend the Stop the Steal rally.
FBI informants, right? I mean, they had the report. They telling right, basically, we got the report. We got the whistleblower. We got the witnesses. You're busted. They're telling this nigga this. They're saying the informants, the person told, a whistleblower told us it was such and such informants, not agents. Pay attention to the words. We're not saying agents anymore. We're saying informants.
Was aware the FBI informants would attend the Stop the Steal rally thrown on January 6th.
So we know there were 26 paid spies by the FBI present on the Capitol grounds that day, according to this IG's report. Apparently only 3 of them were authorized to be there. So my question, John, is what were the other 23 doing?
You confirmed that the FBI had confidential human sources at the Stop the Steal rally on January 6th here in D.C., sir?
Congressman, as we've discussed before, I'm not going to get into where we have or have not used confidential human sources. But what I can tell you,
on.
You asked for a definitive
We'll move
answer.
on. It's my time.
Now, they weren't apparently, according to this report, encouraged or directed to be there, but were they told they couldn't be there? Like, what exactly were they doing? So,
like, what were you doing there, right? They saying that, like, we was just there. Like who's just there giving up information, right? If you if you wasn't supposed to be part of any shit, right? The FBI, and you wasn't assigned to that case, the FBI, the January 6th, or the Proud Boy, or no particular group, the FBI would have had no use for you. Why would they send you there if you were part of no group and they had no use for you? You were just an average, everyday person. Why would they send you there to get information? Who would they send you after? How would you get that information? Think about it. That shit's stupid. We just happen to be there.
It's my time.
now they weren't apparently, according to this report, encouraged or directed to be there, but were they told they couldn't be there? Like, what exactly were they doing?
So did you have confidential human sources? I think you never answered that question on January 6th in the Capitol. Did you have?
He's not going to answer it either. You see how they wording it, right? They not said agents. Whenever you hear the Democrats and the liberals, they keep saying agents. The Republicans never say agents. They say confidential informants. You know what I'm saying? CHSs, right? Did you have them up in there? Not agents. People, they said that you had people who work for the agents, work for the FBI, but you got to be able to understand how the liberals word it. Oh, there was no FBI. They said it was FBI agents. They said it was FBI. No one said it was FBI agents. They said it was whatever CHSs.
Have some.
And in fact, some of them, as we learned from this report, entered the restricted area, went into the Capitol. Were they inciting anything? Were they enticing anyone to go with them?
I'm sorry, what's the
Confidential human sources. Did you have them on January 6th in the Capitol?
Well, again, I'm never going to be getting into when and where we
Okay,
have
are you
have not used.
He said that with everybody. I'm not going to get into when and where we have or have not. I'm not saying we did. I'm not saying we didn't. But I'm saying my people, the informants, didn't start it. So he basically telling that the informants was there. He just said that they didn't start it. But to say that some informant started it is a lie. They wasn't there, and I'm not saying they wasn't, but to say that they started it was a lie.
Did you have them on January 6th in the Capitol?
Well, again, I'm never going to be getting into when and where we have have not used confidential human sources. But
are you willing to stand the record that you had no confidential human sources that went into Capitol on January 6th?
I really would love to know what exactly they were saying to the people in the groups that they were part of.
As I've said consistently, I'm not going to get into where we have or have not used confidential human sources. I can tell you that if you are asking if the violence at the Capitol on January 6th was part of some operation orchestrated by FBI sources or agents, the answer is no.
We've just
You see that? I'm not saying that they was and they wasn't, but if you're saying that they was a part of this, the answer is no. So you're saying that they was there, that they just wasn't part of the so-called Capitol riot. He told on himself, but they never. But fake news never reported this shit. It's obvious. They obviously telling them. So and they know it. It's like when you know something, like if your spouse cheated on you, right? And you have a videotape, right? You have an eyewitness. You have the person that cheated with your spouse, right? You got the condom, you got everything. And they still were like denying. Well, what do you mean by sex? Right? What do you mean by somebody fucking or sex? Or no? It was not actually sex. I mean, what the fuck was it? We were making love. We were fucking. It wasn't sex. We were just fucking. And telling them, like, we got it. Like, look, I got all the evidence. Just tell me. I know I wasn't cheating. And then you got, I mean, this before you release all the evidence and tell them, look, man, I got the video, I got the person, I got the condom, I got everything. I got the witness, I got everything. Just tell me. Before I tell you, I got everything. I know you cheated. No, I didn't. I would never cheat on you. You know I love you. Well, on the video, you said you hate me. You're not telling this motherfucker you got all this evidence, though. You just telling them, like, hey, man, you're a cheater. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. I'm not a cheater. I'll never cheat. I'm a faithful man. But you got all the evidence, and you ain't told them shit. That's what they're doing to him. Hey, so what you're saying is that it was no confidential informant. So what you're saying that no of them reached the Capitol. And all this breaking shit just came out today. Remember, they get the report before we do, right? So all this so-called report just came out today. What they was asking them 6 months ago. It lines up perfectly.
If you are asking if the violence at the Capitol on January 6th was part of some operation orchestrated by FBI sources or agents, the answer is no.
We've just learned that FBI Director Christopher Wray has just submitted his resignation.
I also think it's interesting that this report comes out the day after Chris Wray resigns.
It comes out a day after. Think about it. The report that Christopher Wray denied. No, it wasn't no confidential informant. No, it wasn't no CHS. No, it wasn't no human source. No, it wasn't none of that. Denied. The day after he retired, guess what? The report comes out. And it don't look all good.
That this report comes out the day after Chris Wray resigns.
We were anticipating that the FBI director would try to talk to his troops, talk to the people at the FBI before making this official.
We've just learned that FBI Director Christopher Wray has just submitted his resignation.
We're told that there's a town hall, an all hands at the FBI at this minute.
After weeks of careful thought, I've decided the right thing for the Bureau is for me to serve until the end of the current administration in January and then step down.
It seems to me that he may not have wanted to contend with the questions that, of course, are going to emerge from everything that we're learning today.
My goal is to keep the focus on our mission, on the
Hell no, the goal is to keep the focus off your ass. That nigga say, I'm finna work all the way up until Donald Trump is in the office, then my ass gonna quit. You know what I'm saying? For the integrity of the FBI. That nigga lying like a motherfucker. That motherfucker, you could have quit next week. You quit. And the brother like, y'all finna release a report? Fuck it, I quit. You finna release a real January 6th report? Fuck it, I'm out. Must I lied on the motherfucker stand? Must FBI investigation we been doing? They finna pardon them. You know what I'm saying? Hey, they finna do some real investigations on all this shit. Fuck it, I'm out. And Cash Patel finna, you know what, nigga? I'm out. Biden, give me a pardon. I'm out. I want to give Christopher Wray a pardon because I know Donald Trump gonna go after him. You damn right he gonna go after him. Look at how much he lied on here. The nigga said Donald Trump got hit with some scrap metal. I forgot to put that in. As a matter of fact, I forgot to put that in. I had that shit too right here. Look, it said Donald Trump got hit with some scrap metal. We don't really know if Donald Trump, you know what I'm saying, we think he got hit with some scrap metal. Like, nigga, what? You said what? Where we at right here? Where we at? It should be somewhere right. Donald Trump got hit with some scrap metal. Like, Donald Trump, like, nigga, what the fuck did he just say? We already know what everybody doesn't have. Where this shit at? Said Donald Trump got hit with some scrap metal. We really don't know if Donald Trump really got shot or not. All we know is Donald Trump got hit with some scrap metal. Like, nigga, what? You gotta go, homie. You have to go. You have to go. You have to go. You have to go. Where that shit at? Where is that shit at? Donald Trump got hit with scrap metal. Here's that. Donald Trump, wait, Donald Trump, scrap metal. Christopher Wray, Chris Wray, I ain't gotta capitalize it. Shooting, scrap metal. Scrap. That's what I said, scrap metal. He got hit with some scrap metal. He got hit with some scrap metal. Well, yeah. He said Donald Trump really got hit with some scrap metal. He didn't really get hit with no bullet. He got hit with some scrap metal. Where that shit at? Oh my God! I know I had that shit. Here you go. Question. I think it faces questions. Here you go. The shooter. Is this it?
We have recovered a drone
Here you go. No,
that the shooter appears to have used.
This is not it.
As I've said from the beginning, the attempted assassination of the former president.
That's not it. Where is that? Where is that?
We've seen more sophisticated and less. I would say these are relatively, again, keyword, relatively crude devices themselves, but they did have the ability to be detonated remotely.
Well, this devices are what? Oh my God. Oh my God. Donald Trump shooting. Do that. So Donald Trump got hit with some scrap metal. He really did. Oh, that's too damn long. I just was watching this shit yesterday. What did I type in and say that Donald Trump got hit with some scrap metal? He didn't really get shot in the ear. He got hit with some scrap metal. That's why his ass is gone. You can't really trust this son of a bitch. You can't really trust that son of a bitch. He's a wicked son of a bitch. Cat, where we at? FBI confirmed director detailing FBI Christopher Wray announced his resignation. He gone. He out of here. Let me see. Resigns, clashes Wray after Everybody clashing with Ray. Ray clashed with everybody. Don't nobody like Ray. Well, that's it. Let's get back to the video. Don't nobody like Ray. I'm finna find it and I'm finna play it. I'm finna find it. I'm finna play this damn thing and I'm gonna find it. He said he got shot in the ear with some scrap metal. It ricocheted off the wall. Oh.
The indispensable work each of you is doing every single day.
Where the FBI Director Chris Wray is telling the FBI employees that he is planning to resign.
And in my view, this is the best way to avoid dragging the Bureau deeper into the fray while reinforcing the values and principles that are so important in how we do our work.
He's planning to resign soon. It's not effective immediately. We don't know more details at this point, but this has been something that obviously has been the talk of Washington, has been talk of the country.
Now, it should go without saying, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyways. This is not easy for me.
Because President Trump has made clear that he plans to replace Christopher Wray, FBI leadership. He already has chosen Kash Patel as his next FBI director.
I love this place. I love our mission, and I love our people. But my focus is, and always has been, on us and on doing what's right for the FBI.
So the question was really just a matter of when is he planning to go? Whether does he plan to leave on January 20th? Does he plan to resign?
Does it really fucking matter when you plan to go? Like, look, when should I quit? Before Christmas or after Christmas? Who gives a fuck? Just go, right? You're not gonna make it to you're not gonna make it to motherfucking Valentine's Day. Just go. You're not gonna be the FBI director that's directing the FBI during inauguration day, nigga. Just go. You think Trump gonna trust your ass during inauguration day? Like, oh, you gonna find my ass? And then you want me to give you detail at your inauguration? You damn, that's not gonna happen. Huh? What they think? He like, man, Christopher Wray, you might as well quit right now. He's like, I'm gonna do my job all the way up into. Who gives a fuck if you do your job all the way up? Don't nobody care. Nigga, quit. Don't nobody give a fuck. I'm gonna make sure I'm supposed to do 10 years. I'm gonna do my whole 7-year tenure because I want to do my job because I love this place and I love you guys and I wouldn't turn my back on none of you guys. Nigga, go.
Resign, or does he plan to wait for President Trump, the incoming president, to fire him?
Because when you look at where the threats are headed, it is clear that the importance of our work protecting the American people and upholding the Constitution will not change.
There may be some exceptions to it. I have to look. But, if somebody was radical, crazy, there might be some people from Antifa there.
And the other point I'd like to make is something that David Spunch just raised.
You hear that? It might be some people from Antifa there. It goes on a case-to-case basis. You know what I'm saying? Don't have me do some Joe Biden shit and lie. It might be some people from Antifa there. And we can't give Antifa no breaks now, can we? That's what you want me to do? You want me to give Antifa a break? I can't do that.
People from Antifa there.
And the other point I'd like to make is something that David Spunch just raised, where he said that Matthew Graves, who's the U.S. attorney here in Washington, D.C., did not prosecute any of those confidential human sources, spies, that did enter the Capitol that day.
I don't know, because those people seem to be in good shape. Whatever happened to Scaffold Man? You know who Scaffold Man was?
And his office, Graves' office, did put out a statement and said that they did not generally prosecute anyone who just went into the Capitol and didn't commit other crimes.
He stood on a scaffold telling everybody to go and nothing happened to him. Whatever happened to Ray Epps? Now, I don't know anything about Ray Epps, but it was sort of strange the way he was talking. Where is he? What happened to him?
My question there is, what does generally mean? How did they make those decisions?
Because the people that did very little. They arrested an old woman.
He said, you heard of Scalpel Man? What happened to Scalpel Man? You heard of Scalpel Man? Ray Epps, what happened to that dude? Ray Epps is Scalpel Man. I found the video, y'all. I found the video when he was lying on Donald Trump. Here you go, right here. Here you go, right here.
Where did all 8 bullets go is, I guess, my question.
I don't have that in front of me. I'm happy to circle back and get that to you, it's assuming we have that information yet. As I said, I think with respect to former President Trump, there's some question about whether or not it's a bullet or shrapnel that that hit his ear. So it's conceivable. Although, as I sit here right now, I don't know whether that bullet, in addition to causing the grazing, could have also landed somewhere else. But I believe we've accounted for all of the shots and the cartridges.
Where did all 8 bullets?
Well, your ass, we know your ass needs to be fired. If you go on Capitol Hill and say the president-elect did not get shot by a damn bullet and may got hit with some scrap metal, your ass got to go, bro. Right? Because you're putting something in the public head that it's possible Donald Trump didn't get shot and he could be lying. What you basically saying? Oh, he didn't really get shot in the ear. That's scrap metal. You know what kind of message that put in people's ear? That's election interference. Your ass got to go, bro.
Go is, I guess, my question.
I don't have that in front of me. I'm happy to circle back and get that to you, it's assuming we have that information yet. As I said, I think with respect to former President Trump, there's some question about whether or not it's a bullet or shrapnel that that hit his ear. So it's conceivable. Although, as I sit here right now, I don't know whether that bullet, in addition to causing the grazing, could have also landed somewhere else. But I believe we've accounted for all of the shots and the cartridges.
Where did?
Of course, it didn't go in him. It grazed him. Oh, we counted for 8. And the bullet could have landed somewhere else. And it could have been scrap metal. Fired. Bye. No more job for your ass, you dumb son of a bitch.
And why weren't those particular paid spies part of that group?
Because I don't think she did anything. They don't even know what she did. These people have suffered. Their lives have been destroyed.
Right. Even if you go to the poll and not Republican or Democrat, I think it was maybe 3 months ago, independents believe the greatest threat to democracy was Joe Biden getting reelected. And that was independents, not Republican or Democrat.
In a Substack post titled "Bring It On, Donald," former GOP Congressman Adam Kinzinger writes this, quote, "Donald Trump's latest threat to jail members of the January..."
He's just like Jay-Z or one of these other perverts or one of these motherfuckers act guilty, right? Oh, they want to put up a big fight. Oh, tell them to come on and come up to fight and come and this and that. And you know these sons of bitches is guilty. It's a difference when Donald Trump was saying it and when they were saying it, right? It's a whole different genre of shit, right? Because you saw the charges on Donald Trump. You're like, oh man, it's some bullshit. But you see the charges on them and you say, no, this is not no bullshit. This is facts.
January 6th committee is nothing more than the desperate howl of a man who knows history will regard him with shame.
So what you say, you can believe, but that's not what the American public believes.
There's a difference between what the American people think and what's true.
You heard what that bitch say? It's the difference between what the American people believe and what's true. I ain't never heard no shit like that. It's a difference between what the American people believe and what's true. So all we believe is lies? And how many American people is this? Is this all of them but the ones that don't happen to agree with you? Huh? I don't understand that statement. American people don't know the truth.
You can believe, but that's not what the American public believes.
There's a difference between what the American people think and what's true.
There's a difference between what the American people believe and what's true. I don't even know how to take that. I don't even know if to tell you the truth, I don't know how to take that, because if she's telling us the truth, what do we actually believe in? What they tell us? So what they tell us, don't look for the truth. Let us look for the truth and let us give it to you. So that way you don't have to look for it. Because you don't know what to believe. One more time.
Can believe, but that's not what the American public believes.
There's a difference between what the American people think and what's true.
Let me be clear. We did nothing wrong. The January 6th committee's work was driven by facts, the Constitution, and the pursuit of accountability, principles that seem foreign to Trump.
The 23 confidential human sources, just reading through this, Carrie, 3 of them entered the Capitol during the riot. An additional 11 entered the restricted area around the Capitol, to your point. Based on what we have learned so far in the details of this report, how would you characterize the findings?
Well, it's very interesting. I think it's especially interesting given that people who were, some of them were just, I think, internet sleuths and the like, have been talking about this for years. And it was only, I think, a couple of years ago that a DOJ attorney in court made the admission that some of these people were present that day.
Donald, go ahead and try to rewrite history. Use your platform to deflect blame, point fingers, and play the victim. But the evidence speaks louder than your words.
But if you remember, anyone who even raised the possibility that there were paid FBI spies part of what happened, who were part of what happened on January 6th, they were deemed crazy, conspiracy theorists, and the like.
History will remember the January 6th committee as defenders of democracy, and you as a man who betrayed it.
Now, look, confidential human sources are a law enforcement tool that are used in all kinds of situations. And we know that some of these people were apparently part of the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. But again, why so many? What were they doing? What were the conversations they were having?
Every single night for the last 2 years, there is a vigil that's held outside of the DC jail here.
You won't have to do the vigil for long, because Trump finna come save you. They were like, look, man, they doing, look. And you know, there's some dedicated patriots. If you sit up here every night, right, and sing and talk to your fellow patriots to let them know you're there and they're not alone, that takes dedication, that takes love. And this is what Trump supporters do. You wouldn't see no liberals doing no shit like that. They're not sitting outside no abortion clinics like praising the women for having abortions, like singing outside the window while the lady, you know what I'm saying, getting a snippet job there outside the window singing and twerking and shit. You don't see none of that. But these people for days, years, months, right, through cold weather, snow, fall, you name it, they are there. That's true dedication, that's true love, and that's true patriotism, because they know they are prisoners of fucking war.
And the vigil is in support of people who participated in the January 6th riots who are now being held here.
The truth has been laid bare. The American people have seen the evidence, and no kangaroo court or hollow threats will change that.
And if they were, in fact, according to the IG and the FBI, not authorized to be there, then why weren't they prosecuted like everybody else who...
Thank you. Thank you. If they wasn't supposed to be there, why did it get prosecuted like everybody else? If they wasn't supposed to be there, huh? If they wasn't on assignment, why was they there? And if they wasn't supposed to be there when they went to the restricted area, why didn't they get treated like everybody else? Why didn't they get convicted, right? And why did you get information from them when they wasn't supposed to be there? It sounds kind of fishy to me. It's like the DOJ need to investigate that, right? Why was these informants there? What information did they give you? How did they get that information? Right? And why and what was the purpose of them being there if you didn't tell them? Why you didn't tell them don't come? Right? Somebody to investigate that.
We'll change that.
And if they were, in fact, according to the IG and the FBI, not authorized to be there, then why weren't they prosecuted like everybody else who were prosecuted for similar issues?
It's known as Freedom Corner, with a view of the so-called Patriot Wing, where a number of January 6th participants are held.
You may fool some of the people some of the time, but the tide is turning. It just may take a bit. I'm confident that the name Trump will be a stain on our history, and my son will be proud of what I did.
And we continue to pray for our patriots and pray for President Trump that he will abide by his word to pardon our patriots and set them free. So we ask and pray this in Jesus' name. In Jesus' name, amen.
So bring it on. We aren't afraid of the truth, but I suspect you are.
Among the vigil attendees, Brandon Fellows, a January 6th participant convicted of trespassing and disorderly conduct. Fellows spent nearly 36 months behind bars. He was released in May 2024.
That is a long ass time for that crime. That's 3 years. He just got out for some basic stupid shit that some of these sons of business get probation for, or at least a slap on the wrist. He just got out.
You said no, you're not going to answer. That's cool. We're watching.
Mr. Chairman, may I answer the question?
Your moment will come. This is my time.
What is the Patriot wing of the DC jail?
They're giving you food, they're giving you blankets, they're giving you spare clothes, they're telling you about their story, they're asking you about your story. Hey, why are you in here? What side of the Capitol were you on? Stuff like that.
On that point, you and I were talking about this off camera. So far, as of August, 1,488 people who were there on January the 6th have been charged with some sort of an offense.
During the nightly vigil, inmates call the phones of organizers. That's how we got to speak with Jonathan Pollock and Joseph Hutchinson, who are awaiting trial. Pollock and Hutchinson are both accused of assaulting.
They still await trial. Still 3-4 years later, and they still awaiting trial. That's all right. They waiting down Donald Trump to get their ass out. They didn't go for it. And you see how CNN was like, there's a lot of people who's not going to accept Donald Trump pardon and stuff like that. It's a good reason why someone want to accept Donald Trump pardon, right? And it's not because they disrespecting Donald Trump or anything like that. It's only because they say they're not guilty. And if Donald Trump, and they accept Donald Trump pardon, it's saying that they're guilty when they say they're not guilty and they're fighting their innocence. Right? So if he give them a pardon, if they have a lawsuit or anything like that, they can't file a lawsuit if you say you're guilty. I'm guilty, but I still want to file a lawsuit. No, I'm innocent all the way. And the whole jail time I've done, right, was imprisonment, was false imprisonment, it was wrongful, it violated my constitutional rights and everything, right? But if you plead guilty and you get a pardon, right? All that goes out the window. Donald Trump can't even give you no money because you pled guilty and you took a pardon, right? But on the other hand, if you took a if you pled guilty before you knew Donald Trump was going to win, right? You also get a pardon because you was unsure of your future, you was unsure of your certainty, and if Donald Trump give you a pardon, you already done your job. Donald Trump give you a pardon, and you already done your time. You can go back and still sue, right? And you can still sue for wrongful imprisonment and all that stuff, right? Because now you're going back, right? But if you do it right now, right, or you'd have played guilty and you'd have had 15, 16 years, he still could pardon you, but it'd been a much harder time, right? Then you say, hey, I'm not guilty, I'm not guilty, I'm not guilty, right? And then that guilt thing will never go on your record. So what Donald Trump can do, he can pardon them, get a full pardon and stuff like that, and strip them of all that and say it was wrong for imprisonment, all that, and then all them people can fucking sue, which they should be able to. And I think that's what Donald Trump gonna do. So I think some of them who didn't get pardons and stuff like that, who took it all the way to trial and stuff like that, they good. And the people who took a deal because they thought they were gonna get the extra time, they good too. Let's go.
Hutchinson, who are awaiting trial. Pollock and Hutchinson are both accused of assaulting and punching police officers on January 6th.
Earlier this year, an FBI informant who is reported to have, quote, under oath, marched to the U.S. Capitol with fellow Proud Boys members on January 6th, close quote.
What are you guys thinking in terms of pardons? Do you think that you will receive one from President-elect Trump when he takes office?
He, cares about us. He knows what we did that day. He stood for what was right.
He said he was communicating with his FBI handler while people were entering the U.S. Capitol. Can you confirm that the FBI had that sort of engagement with your own agents embedded into the crowd on January 6th?
Oh, I mean, it would be such a happy day if we did get pardoned, but he's got to make that decision.
Right, and if you pardon them before they take their sentence, right, what happens is you free them to get out to jail, right? Because they didn't actually plead guilty, they got a pardon, and their case got dismissed, right? And then they can go back and say, well, then they can sue for wrongful imprisonment, right? Because they say, I never took a deal and I was never guilty. And Donald Trump going to hit them with the code because they've been in with the investigation, say it was wrong imprisonment and all that. They are going to be able to file and have lawsuits for millions. That's why I'm seeing it and all that shit. They say, well, Donald Trump's trying to get restitution to white people. Donald Trump trying to get restitution to no. There's many people who supposed to get beat by the police and so all that shit, and they family get millions of dollars and shit, right? Why can't the family who family's been wrongfully accused get millions of dollars too? Oh, it's gonna happen, and ain't nobody gonna say shit because everybody know it's right. Everybody know it's right. You ain't gonna hear no black people complain about shit. You better not. You better hear some. The only people gonna complain are the liberals. Oh, Donald Trump is giving white people reparations in January 6th and this and this and that. I told you he was gonna do this. It was gonna be the only people. I'm pretty sure some black people up in there, some Mexican people up in there, some Asians, all of them gonna get some money, right? It was just no black. It was just none of them people who you named that's black went up in the Capitol building, or not too many blacks went up in the Capitol building that day because there wasn't too many black Trump supporters, right? And you can't automatically just make somebody go in the Capitol building, right? So you saying that it wasn't he ain't giving no money to no black people. Hell, wasn't no black people supporting Donald Trump going into the Capitol building at the MAGA January 6th protest. We know some. Me and Charlie Mo know some, but we don't know none that went up in there.
194 of those people had pled guilty to various offenses. 288 pled guilty to felonies. 606 pled guilty to misdemeanors. Yet none of these confidential informants were charged with anything.
Do you think that he'll do it on a case-by-case basis? His campaign has mentioned that. Or do you think that he should do a blanket pardon for everybody that has been convicted?
If you are asking whether the violence at the Capitol on January 6th was part of some operation orchestrated by FBI sources and or agents, the answer is emphatically
You're saying no?
No.
Right, so you have to wonder what were the conversations that were happening behind the scenes.
Breaking news into CNN. A new DOJ watchdog report has just been released on the January 6th riot at the Capitol, and this finds that there were no undercover FBI employees at the Capitol during the riot.
This finding runs directly counter to speculation from allies of President-elect Donald Trump, who for years have suggested the violence that day was provoked by federal agents.
All right. Right. CNN gonna try to put a whole different spin on it.
There's no doubt that I believe G6ers are going to be pardoned, no matter what their charges are.
And something else that came out in this report was that the confidential human sources, apparently the information they were providing to the FBI was no different than what everyone else was providing. Like, hey, January 6th, there might be some violence, there might be a thing. So there wasn't any, apparently it sounds like there wasn't anything special.
You're saying no?
Not violence orchestrated by FBI sources or agents.
Are you familiar with you know what a ghost vehicle is? Director of the FBI certainly should. You know what a ghost bus is?
A ghost bus?
Ghost bus.
I'm not sure I've used that term before.
Okay.
And the reason I keep raising that is because if in fact there were conversations occurring like, hey, let's go in there, let's do that, let's do this, entrapment is a defense.
It's pretty common in law enforcement. It's a vehicle that's used for secret purposes.
He finna hit him with a gotcha moment, and the gotcha moment is so cold that the speaker cut his ass off. Like, hell no. He finna bust Christopher Wray out with the coldest got you moment. One of the coldest got you moments I heard in the history of hearings. And I hear a lot of hearings, right? But this I got you moment was so cold, right? That it was like, hey, wait, hey. And even he stopped, like, okay, you know what I got. He could have went no. He could have argued, hey, give me 2 more minutes or let him answer. But even he just like, okay, I got you. It was a mic drop. Nobody really caught it.
It's painted over. These 2 buses in the middle here, they were the first to arrive at Union Station on January 6th, 0500. I have all this evidence.
If a government agent induces you to commit a crime, a defendant can raise that in the court of law.
I'm showing you a tip of this iceberg.
Mr. Chairman.
These 2 buses are painted completely white.
Point of order. Point of order.
Does the
He said them was the 2 buses. They were filled with FBI agents. I have a mountain of evidence, right? I have a mountain of evidence. These 2 buses were the first to arrive in D.C. Who was up in there? I got all the scoop. He let him know. They letting the people know. He let Ray know I got all the scoop. Who came in this bus, this ghost bus right here? I know what it is. I know who was in it. Don't lie to me.
On January, these 2 buses in the middle here, they were the first to arrive at Union Station on January 6th, 0500. I have all this evidence.
If a government agent induces you to commit a crime, a defendant can raise that in the court of law.
I'm showing you a tip of this iceberg.
Mr. Chairman.
These 2 buses
Mr.
are
Chairman.
painted completely white.
Point of order. Point of order.
Does the FBI missed a, quote, basic step in intelligence gathering ahead of the January 6th attack on the Capitol? According to the long-awaited review from the Department of Justice Inspector General on the attack, the FBI failed to canvass its field offices for intelligence ahead of the events of January 6th.
That they were revealing. And, again, the questions are, what were those confidential human sources who were, quote, not encouraged or directed to be there by the FBI? What were they saying to the other people in their groups?
I mean, essentially, that canvas of all of the field offices across the FBI really could.
You don't think that was a fuck up? Remember when they said, Donald Trump said they lost the reports and all this other stuff? This is what was important reports when Donald Trump knew it was going to be violence at the national. I'm not no violence. It could have been some potential violence at the Capitol building when he asked for all these extra National Guards and all this other stuff and all that, right? Somehow that it was probably going to be some danger and there was probably going to be some violence. It didn't happen to get out to all the field offices. I wonder why, and I wonder who fault that was.
Could have gotten some important information because as we now learned through this process, a lot of those field offices did have good information about January 6th and including some from their own confidential human sources, from people who were scouring the web. And, all of us were online, right, at that point, and we knew that this was sort of something that was gathering. So it's always been this big question of why the FBI failed. And I think part of it was just the time period they were dealing with. It was over the holidays, right? So that's part of it. So maybe not everyone's putting their best foot forward, but this was definitely a big failure, I think, by the FBI not getting all that information together.
Say, look, I was.
You would think as FBI and not getting all information together, you would think, oh, they were probably tired. It was the weekend. It was Christmas, New Year's just passed, January 5th, they were just tired, so they didn't really get all the information now. They had all the information. Come on, really? It was always the same thing with the assassination. Always something wrong.
tracked into doing something. I was enticed into doing something by the government I otherwise wouldn't have done.
I mean, this was a unique circumstance because it was the FBI under Donald Trump, and who wants to sort of upset the big boss? I think that was one of the issues here. They couldn't really issue these reports ahead of time saying that, hey, all these things he's saying about the stolen election are actually going to cause some problems down the line, and we're seeing a lot of rhetoric because of it. You kind of have to pretend as though, there's not politics in the room, even though you can't have really honest discussions even within the...
Oh, so you said ignore the people online saying because Donald Trump is saying it's going to be it was a stolen election, it might be some shit on January 6th. Because we don't want to upset Donald Trump, we're not going to say nothing, and we're not going to distribute the information. How smart is that of the FBI? That's some of the stupidest planning I ever heard in my life. You might as well hire me as the FBI director. You're going to do some shit like that.
The FBI about what the sort of threat level that was creating.
Now, the government's response based on this report would probably be, well, they weren't authorized by the government to be there at the time.
Well, the most important finding that is one that you just outlined, which is that this claim that you've had from Republicans in Congress, allies of Donald Trump, who have claimed that the FBI had agents essentially undercover who helped instigate the riot, that there's a video that seems to suggest, in their view, that either people who were being paid by the FBI were essentially helping to stage the insurrection that happened on January 6th.
Remember, they kept on saying, we don't want to release part of the video because we have people in the video, like confidential informants or whatever people, special people, right? That we don't want identity to be seen. So now the what happens is they're using that excuse as to not show the videotape of where the FBI informants was and where some of the videos where it can prove some of these people innocent, because they don't want the people in the court or the public to see who was the confidential informants, right? So they have to block them tapes and keep them tapes confidential, right? Wherever them people was at, right? So if these people was in restricted areas and these people was all over the Capitol building and things like that, that means it's lots of videos and hours of videos that you cannot show because the confidential informant face, you know what I'm saying, or his physical might be in that video. So in order to not release that video, you have a confidential informant up in there and say, we can't release this part of the video because we are endangering the lives of this confidential informant. So we have to keep this part of the video, this, and that. Now, if you were smart, right, you have them so-called confidential informants spread out all over the Capitol and all over different types of places, so you can hide all them videos and say, well, we can't put this video in because here go my confidential informant again. Oh, we can't use this video because if this go to confidential informant again, and you say, well, how do we know? How would people know that's not the confidential informant? Because the people who locked up would know the only person that didn't get prosecuted or the person that didn't do this or the person who did that, and they would line the people up, you know what I'm saying, with such and such, and find out who my confidential informant is. So in order not to do that, we must take this whole portion of this video out and keep this confidential. Actually smart. I would do the same thing. Look, man, just run all across the motherfucking Capitol, run all across, because we need you in certain places at certain times, right? Because we don't want to be able to release that video to the public. So if we use you as a confidential informant and we're protecting your identity, right? We're killing two birds with one stone.
But then, of course, a question for a judge would be, well, could they have been perceived still as an agent of the government, given that they were, this confidential human source? What did the defendant know about them and their role at the time?
And this report flatly says that did not happen. And of course, the FBI has been pushing back on this for the last few years, but that hasn't really satisfied members of Congress. And it's frankly one of the reasons why they had a beef with Chris Wray and why Chris Ray is no longer going to be FBI director. They believe that there was something to this conspiracy that's been running around. And
I just think this report raises more questions, but certainly at a minimum, gives some credibility to people who have been saying this for so many years.
Where the FBI informants would attend the Stop the Steal rally thrown on January 6th.
People like me, right? So it's going to be more and more shit that's going to come out, right? And you're going to hear the Democrats complain more and more about Donald Trump is going after his political opponents, and Donald Trump is trying to go after old cases, and Donald Trump is trying to dig up. No. He's trying to get some shit straight so he can present to the public and say, look, this is why we need to clean up the FBI. This is why we need to clean up the DOJ. This is not why we need to clean up the justice system. Because they done it to me, they would do it to you, right? And I actually won and disproved that these motherfuckers are cheaters, right? So in order for us not to cheat, right, or nobody to steal the election no more, we must change the election, because remember, Donald Trump wanted to go to one-day ballot voting. One ballot, one vote, one ID. Now they have the House. Now they have the Senate. Now they have all that. Guess what kind of voting bill they finna sign now? They're going to sign the voting bill where it's going to take a day to vote, and it's going to be hard to cheat because it's going to be one day with the ballot and your ID and all that shit, right? That was something the Democrats was trying to strongly fight against, because all the states Kamala Harris won was all the states you can vote without ID. Think about that. Most of them is the states you can vote without ID. But Donald Trump is telling you this is why we need to clean up the FBI. I'm finna show you that they stole the election. And in showing you this, I want to make sure no other election is stolen again. So, you know what I'm saying? Because Donald Trump was right on everything else. He was right on everything else. He's going to be vindicated. Like I told you, with the Hunter Biden thing, with the voting thing, with the suppression of votes, they stole the vote, they stole the election with all the fake ballots, and they stole the election. Even though I had to accept it and it's passed and it's over and it's done with, we have to do something to clean up this voting system so the American people will not be cheated again. It will be Jesus, because he's going to use that to do that. Nobody can say nothing, because they're going to be like, why does he keep on looking? Why is he going to keep on looking? Because if he know he's right, and he know he get the evidence, he know it would be easy to put his next law as far as the way you vote and how we vote and the time you have to vote. It would be so easy to put in place because the people would be accepted of it. Like hey, y'all already cheated. Donald Trump already proved that. So we will have to ride with Donald Trump on this fair election shit. We got to trust him. Because guess what? Y'all done that, and we can't trust y'all. And Donald Trump proven through social media. Look at all the people that turned on Donald Trump, Mark Zuckerberg, and all the bitches that talk about Donald Trump like a dog. You know what I'm saying? Look at all of them getting comfy to Trump, wanting to go to Mar-a-Lago. I want to go to Mar-a-Lago. Let me go to Mar-a-Lago. I'm next. They're all kissing the ring now. And the cold thing about it, Donald Trump ain't out there acting like he an asshole. He's still like, I'm going to do my job for the American people. No matter if you voted for me or not, I still love you. We still going to do this together. That's unity. Joe Biden didn't say no shit like that. As soon as he got up there and said, you son of bitches with COVID, and you son of bitches wasn't wearing masks, and you son of bitches ain't got a shot, oh, you motherfuckers got to go. You motherfuckers going to be locked. He got up and said some bullshit. In the first 90 days, we're going to put 100 million shots in people, and we're going to put 2 vaccines in. As soon as he got on, he got to sign an executive order. This regulation gone, this regulation gone, these 94 regulations, executive order gone. He got to sign this shit. Right? He didn't say none of that, I love you. right? But you got to think about it. Donald Trump ain't even got no big head about it. He ain't got no big, he not pumping his chest out of nothing, right? And he could be, but he's not even doing that. He can be so assholish right now, but he's not even doing that. He's trying to unite the country, and the best way to unite the country is stand back, relax, you know what I'm saying, and this fuck with the people. That's all you got to do. Fuck with the people, man. And the people gonna fuck with you back. They're gonna show you love. They're gonna have your back. Donald Trump, right? He is won the man of the fucking year. He should have won a fucking Nobel Peace Prize too, but they cheated him out of that. But people are starting to butter up to him because he's starting to butter up the people. They're starting to get his jokes. They're starting to get his personality. They're starting to get around to it, right? Look how he went around and joked with the black people, right? I only see black people up here. I don't see white people. First thing saying in there, oh, that's racist. I got some shoes. He didn't say he made it from black people, right? They automatically said, oh, he want black people to buy him. Why? You sons of bitches said that. Why everything gotta be, oh, Donald Trump, Donald Trump? No, you said it, bruh. Right? But I'm gonna get up out of here because we got more news coming up tomorrow. And I had to do 2 shows today. I guess we had the one with the bad sound and the stuff like that. So that was an hour waste of time. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta get up and do some stuff. It was cold as shit out here this morning. It was so cold in LA today, right? I saw this girl, she was a worker, right? And she said, I will give you a ride if you turn on your heater. I said, wait a minute. You gonna ride me if I ride you and turn on my heat for free? I said, hell yeah. I said, how far are you going? You want me to pick you up? You want me? You need a ride back? Because I sure in the hell do. Anytime you need a ride, holler at your boy. I'll be your personal Uber, baby. Ooh-wee. I get a free ride for a free ride. I don't care. I use my own gas. Don't worry about the gas money. I got the gas for a little bit of that ass. I'm glad. Look. I'm glad gas is going down because now I can start dating women in my vicinity again. You know what I'm saying? At first, when gas is up in the Joe Biden era, I only can date a girl in the 5-mile vicinity and shit because I couldn't afford to go no 10 miles or no shit like that. Gas was costing too much. You know what I'm saying? As soon as a female told me she stay out of range, like, bitch, you say 7 miles? Let me do my calculations. I can't make it that far. You need to be about 15 blocks closer than what you are right now. I cannot make it that far and make it all the way back. You know what I'm saying? I'll run out about 7 blocks away from my house. I have to walk home, beg my mama for some money, go back, put some gas in the car, make it back, then put some gas in the car to go back to the damn gas station. That's too much. I know exactly my car can make it. That motherfucker almost on E. It'll make it 2.5 blocks back to the liquor store, back to your house, and back to my house. I don't know about all the extra driving. Because the nigga who ran out of gas will know exactly how gas he got because he done ran out of gas a couple of times before. They were like, hey, man, your gas head is on E. He be like, hold on, we still good. He be like, damn, this nigga been rolling on E for 5 minutes. Like, soon as you think you run out of gas, this nigga pull up in the gas station. It's like, damn, this nigga. Then he put up in the gas station and put $3.50 in. You like, nigga, you don't run out of gas again. You almost run out of gas, and you get to the gas station, your ass put $3.50 in. Oh, we just going around the corner and back. That's only $3.25. Like, what the fuck? They're gonna add up this gas to the last dime. Look. This is a joke, right? When you see somebody, this is my personal joke, right? When you see somebody at the gas station, walk up to them and ask them, can you have the rest of their gas? Excuse me, can I have the rest of your gas? Like, hold on, stop pumping, right? Hold on, excuse me, stop pumping. You gotta act like it's an emergency, right? You gotta run to, like, hold on, stop pumping. Stop right now, right? Stop pumping. Like, huh? What happened? You're like, can I have the rest of your gas? I just need to make it down the street. You know, I got 3.5 gallons of gas up there. I need about 4.5. And I see you got $12 in your shit. Can I have the other 8? But you got to scare the shit. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Like the car finna blow up or something. Wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute, wait, stop. And like, wait a minute, stop the gas thing. Man, I was just thinking, can I have the rest of your gas? You're not gonna need all your gas. How far are you going? I think I'm going farther than you. So as long as you can make it home and get some more money, you good. I can't go home and get more money. So I need to have a little bit more gas than you. So you mind if you leave the rest of that gas for me? Just see what he say. See what she say. See if they get mad. Well, you scared the shit out of me. I'm scared the shit out of me talking about, can you get my gas? Nigga, I don't know you like that. Well, damn, bro, you ain't got to get all mad. I'm just asking how the rest of your gas. You catching attitude and shit. Huh? You catching, it's all good, brother. I'm up out of here. I'll see y'all later, alligators. I'm up out of here, man. I'm up out of here. See you later, alligators. See y'all tomorrow, crocodiles. Earlier. I'm out.